Hello everybody, I am the Warm and welcome back to Danganronpa V3. We are starting a little differently today. We are not going to be diving right back into the new chapter. Rather, I'd like to take some time to discuss the previous episode and, well, not just the previous episode, but the whole last trial. And give my thoughts and opinions now that it's finally over. And so this'll just be a little talk. I've gone ahead and gone to the music menu in the extras, so we can, just have some musical accompaniment for us. Otherwise, if you just want to put this on in the background for a little while, I should probably have the time codes in the description if you just want to skip past this and go straight into the next chapter. Otherwise, if you're going to follow along, then welcome aboard. So, first things first, this is actually my third attempt at this. The first time, well, it's unfortunate, and it's a bit embarrassing to say, but I recorded this, a little introduction, this discussion, and I thought it actually went pretty well, considering I was just sort of saying my thoughts aloud. Unfortunately, I ended up, when I intended to press pause on the recording, I ended up stopping the recording. And so, unfortunately, I would have to start up again because, I just ended it. So, I then gave it a second try, and I actually got all the way through it. But after I was finished, I took a look at what I had, and I was left feeling unsatisfied, very unsatisfied with what I did. I felt like I was a lot more rambly the second time around, and I was already thrown off with how I screwed up the first time. So, after giving it some thought, I decided, okay, let's wait another day, and then I can give it another shot. And thus I am here now. And this time, I'm not just starting afresh. I actually went ahead and decided to write my thoughts down, because the last time I did it, it was very, the thoughts did not go smoothly, and there were times when I got after that introduction where I kept going, oh wait, I forgot to mention this, and it just didn't seem very good. So, starting over, we're gonna do it right this time, and hopefully that'll, well, for one, it'll leave me feeling satisfied, and two, it'll hopefully be more interesting to listen to. That's the hope anyway. So, yeah, with that out of the way, let's go ahead and start. And to start off, I'm gonna do something I'm not sure I need to do, but I feel like I need to do. And that is, I want to kind of apologize for the latter parts of the previous episode. I believe I wrote in the description, I gave some of my thoughts. But what ended up happening was I was very quiet near the end. And even while that was happening, I felt like it wasn't good to be quiet that whole time. But I had a few hang-ups that sort of stopped me from saying much. And so, first of all, I really felt like anything that I would say would kind of detract from the scenes that were going on. Something terrible happening, and then what would I say? oh geez, that looks bad, or, you know, so, yeah, there was nothing I could say, at least there was nothing I felt I could say that wouldn't be just, you know, obvious, or, you know, something like that. Now, I've mentioned in the past that I watch quite a few Let's Plays myself, and so I can recall moments where during an intense scene or what have you, throughout all these different kinds of games, and the person playing just either they wouldn't stop talking or they would have a reaction, and I would think in my head, why can't you just relax and take in what's happening? And so that's kind of the mode of thinking that I was in. And also, I'm not someone, just naturally, I'm not someone who yells or sobs or overreacts. It's not my cup of tea. So, and I think if you've watched me for however long, I think you can get that sense of me. So, really, those few things, and then also that I was just really interested in what was going on. I was enthralled. I wanted to see where it was going, and so all those things together just led to me being pretty quiet through near the end. Now, I do understand the other side here. When you're watching a Let's Play, you want to, you know, why aren't you playing the game yourself? Or why aren't you watching someone who put up the whole game without any commentary? Because people do that. They'll put either all the cutscenes or just the game itself on auto with no person speaking over it. Well, presumably you're watching because you want someone's input. And so if I'm not going to be talking or adding any of my thoughts, then sort of what's the point? But, you know, I'm hoping in the future I could improve on this a bit, and maybe I can reach a kind of middle ground where I'll be able to think of what to say, while at the same time not detracting from the scene itself. I'm not sure how well that'll go, but that's kind of where I'm at right now. And I do freely acknowledge I might be making a bigger deal out of this than is strictly necessary. I mean, at time of recording, the video hasn't gone up yet, so I don't know how people are going to react to it. You know, maybe it's perfectly fine, and if that's the case, then this whole this whole part of the conversation is just unnecessary. And so, the only reason why I've done this is because in the moment and afterward, it felt like a long silence to me, and that just didn't seem right. So that's that. That's my piece. Do with it what you will. If you have any advice or are indifferent, then that's fine. But yeah, so another beyond trying to do better, I mean, just thinking about, I mean, this is why, to speak on why I thought it would detract. Think about what we went through within this past trial. I mean, the big moment that it started this whole thing for me, it was the realization of well, once Kaide's revealed to be the culprit, understanding, at least I understood immediately after it was revealed to be her motivation for doing this, and that it was for us. And then that leads to the other realization that, okay, this was why Shuichi was quiet. And then following along with that, realizing that, okay, so we're losing two innocents this first round. You know, it's not like we could even be upset at the culprit. And of course, it may not be correct to say that Kaide is innocent. We know what she did. But we understand that she did this with the best of intentions. But again, it is murder. And she murdered Rantaro, who, as far as we know, was on our side and was trying in his own way to end the game. And so two characters who both, their objectives were the same, to end this for our sake. And both of them are gone. Wow. It was just awful. And then, of course, the piano scene at the end there. It felt like for a lot of that first chapter and prologue, it felt like the story was holding back its punches. And then right when we got to this trial and the end of it, wham, they smacked us with a whole lot all at once. And the last big hit was, of course, that last scene in the piano with Kaede playing music for Shuichi, and the idea of passing on her wish to him. It's just, oh my goodness, it was a lot. And I said as much as at the time. And then, of course, thinking about how, just dreading what's going to come next. Because now we know, okay, the killing game has started, for better or worse. It's on now. And so now it feels like, okay, we're going to be going back into the regular flow of a killing game, like Danganronpa 1 and 2. And that means there's going to be more tragic deaths. And of course, I understand that going into it, yes, I'm playing Danganronpa, it's a killing game. But, I'm immersed in it, right? And so when you're immersed, it's not like I'm just getting to know these characters, and I don't want, horrible things to happen to them when I'm just getting to know. Well, okay, maybe that's not true. Kokichi, I'm really, I'm kind of really feeling. I wouldn't be too sad if something bad happened to him. Maybe that'll change. I'd be really impressed if this story would actually make me care about Kokichi a lot. That would be of all the twists, that would certainly be quite the twist. But yeah, beyond Kokichi, there's no one I'm really, I'm sure that, I know they're all going to have their ups and downs as characters, but I'm not eager for any of them to go. But now, of course, after this first trial, we know they're going to go. It's probably going to be awful. And so all those different things all together just, it hit me hard. So I will say, well done to the story for, making me feel that way. That was, good on Danganronpa for doing that. So, that out of the way, let's actually talk about the trial itself. Let's get into specific details here. First of all, we had a couple pretty huge twists here, and both of them caught me completely unawares. One is the protagonist was the culprit, which we'll talk about a bit later. And the other was, we had this, our protagonist wasn't the protagonist. It was, it turns out Shuichi is our guy. He's the one who's going to take us through the rest of this game. And that was certainly, I was already shocked by Kaede being our culprit, but then having that shift in perspective, it was, I don't think I fully appreciated it at the time, but now that I've had time to think about it, it's just, oh my goodness. And I'll have a lot to say on that, because Shuichi has some big shoes to fill here. And I'll be very curious to see how he does it. So those were the kind of the big twists of this, and I'll elaborate as we go on. But I will say, it is interesting how it feels like, in a few different ways, Danganronpa V3 is kind of, what's the phrase? subverting my expectations here. You know, it's and certainly with our culprit being the protagonist. I mean, that we haven't had anything like that in the Danganronpa game before, I don't think. And the fact that it's the whole area is so similar to Danganronpa 1, I think it's intentional. I think it's with another thing too. You know, we have, okay, protagonist is the culprit, and our protagonist actually isn't the culprit. We're in a school like Danganronpa 1, and then there's also, we have this, our question mark character, the ultimate question mark, Rantaro. In Danganronpa 1 and 2, we had one of those. It was, Kirigiri, Kyoko, I think, in the first game, and in DR2, it was actually Hajime. And both of those characters made it throughout the whole game. And so, you know, the expectation is something like, okay, Rantaro is one of these characters. He's got this mystery behind him. That's obviously going to unfold throughout the story. But no, they take him out first. And so, these big twists, you know, it really feels like the authors are saying, okay, this is the third game. We know what you're thinking. We know what you're expecting. We're not going to do that. Not anymore. We're gonna shake things up. And really, that just makes sense, right? And so far, I'm very interested to see what else they're going to do going forward. So, a couple things about this trial that I got wrong and right. Oh, first of all, I do want to say, I got an A on the trial, and I have to go back and check, but in DR2, I did not make a Let's Play of DR1. That was before I started making videos on here. But in DR2, my record with the trials was not very good. I don't think. I think I got a lot of C's and B's. So I'm gonna take it as a win that I got an A on the first trial. I'm gonna say that's pretty cool. Okay, so a couple things I got wrong and right. So first of all, I gotta apologize to Ryoma. Ryoma, I thought you were the guy. I thought you were the culprit. And I was wrong. But I would hope that he would forgive me a bit, because there were a few things that I thought pointed toward him. For one, there was the comments that Kaede made, where she said, oh, you know, this vent, it looks like maybe a person could fit in here. Now, when I first saw her put her hand in that vent, I thought, okay, no, absolutely not. But, you know, I'm gonna trust the protagonist. I'm gonna trust our perspective, right? Now, of course, we had a little unreliable narrator here, but that was my thought process. So, all right, a person can fit in here. Who's the person that would seem most likely to fit through a vent? Oh, Ryoma. And then we had the thing with the shot put ball, and I was thinking, okay, you know, who uses a ball? Ryoma does. He plays tennis. Now, of course, it's a shot put ball, and we had this whole thing where we thought Gonta could have been it for a while because, you know, he has the strength to toss it like that. But in my mind, I was thinking, okay, we're dealing with ultimates here. Ryoma's the ultimate tennis star. If there's anyone who could, I don't know, tennis with a shot put ball, it would be him, right? And then there's the fact that he is a known killer. And so that also adds into the shot put ball, thinking, okay, how did he kill all these mafia people? I mean, you'd think he'd use his talent for that, right? I think he even said as much, right? It was either in the demo or, well, no, the stuff they say in the demo is the same thing they say in the prologue. So I think he actually did say that he used his talent to murder. So you gotta wonder, okay, how did this tennis guy use tennis to kill people? And that's kind of where my thought process was. But the real issue was I just did not ever think that the protagonist was going to be on the table. So that was the big thing I got wrong this time around. Now, something I did get right, it was something I actually said pre-trial. This was before we even started. I was noting how Shuichi and Kaede were developing a kind of relationship here where, Kaede is this charismatic semi-leader. She was never voted on it or anything, but she was able to get people together. And then Shuichi, for his part, was able to sort of, with his, detective skills, was able to get to the truth of the matter. And with their two skill sets, they seem to be a pretty good team. And, I was curious to see where they were going to go because they seemed to both survive the first killing. And of course, I didn't think either of them was the culprit. So I was really waiting to see how their relationship developed throughout the game. Whoopsie daisy. That turns out that was not in store for us. But what I got right was that, okay, we're developing this relationship. They seem to be pretty strong together. Now, having built that up, it would be much more tragic now if something bad were to happen to one or both of them. And of course, that turned out to be entirely correct. Now, I actually thought, again, because I thought Kaede was off limits, I thought Shuichi would be the one that something bad would happen to him. But no, it was Kaede. And that was just, that was something, huh? So those were kind of two major things. Something I got wrong, something I got right. I will say, here's something I'm unsure about. And I'm curious to what other people's thoughts are on this. Now, in terms of the emotional weight of Kaede being the culprit and, all the consequences because of that, I was, that got me. I was totally in on that, invested. It hurt. But having time to think about it now, I was left asking some questions here. Specifically, was there enough foreshadowing for that? And at first I wasn't sure, but now I think that, so I was thinking, okay, did a lot of other people who played this game, I haven't watched other Let's Plays, of course, I'm very curious how many of them were able to actually guess that, or not guess, but they were able to figure out Kaede was the culprit. And there were 3 opportunities, I think. Well, there were 2 opportunities that were kind of the same, and then one big one. There was, in the classroom and in the warehouse, they used some vague language. And they pointed this out in the trial. It was, in the classroom, Kaede said, "I dropped everything I had." And in the warehouse, she said, "I put everything I had in my bag." And of course, that everything, quote-unquote everything, that was meant to be vague, because included in that everything was the shot put ball. Now that's kind of a stretch. I would be very impressed if someone were able to take those 2 examples and figure it out. But the big one, of course, was the book scene in the library, where she actually goes up and fixes all those books up there. Now, one, you could think, oh, okay, is it just a compulsive thing with her? She wants to have things be clean and neat, and that's why she organized the books? Kind of a stretch, but it wasn't immediately suspicious. But I can recall in the investigation, if you go back to that episode, I see it. I figure out how Rantaro dies. I see the gap in the books up top, and I speculate. Oh, what if the ball just rolled down off from there? And that was it. That was the moment. That was where I could have put it together that it was Kaede. But again, I had this sort of block where I was thinking, where I wasn't even considering the protagonist. So, but that's the connection where I think, okay, that was the moment where I was looking at it and thinking, okay, I could believe people guess it now, or guess isn't the right word. That I could see people coming to this conclusion now. That seems pretty good connection to make there. So, to answer my own question, was there enough foreshadowing? I think probably, yeah. And it was just that book scene, really. Plus, you can make the connection that everything she said about getting the mastermind and the plan to, and we even talked about how we didn't even really have a plan after catching the mastermind, and we would, what was Shuichi's plan really? We would take pictures. We would supposedly catch the mastermind and then convince the others he's the mastermind, he or she, and then what? The mastermind would surrender? But yeah, I don't know. It felt kind of vague, and so you can see that, well, Kaede wasn't okay with that. And so she decided to go with the method she felt would most decisively save her and her friends. Much to our chagrin there. So, beyond that, the trial itself went pretty smoothly. I think I did all right. I mean, I got an A. I did notice that it felt like most of the other students had a good amount to say. I'm trying to think if there was anyone left out, really. See, the thing is, I can't really recall at the moment. I can remember the overall plot points for the trials in Danganronpa 1 and 2, but I can't remember the details of how the trials actually went, through the different minigames and all the little conversations in the various trials, so I have difficulty comparing this trial to other ones. Like, I can remember big moments, in DR2, the very first trial when Nagito first revealed his true thoughts. That was a big moment. But I can't really remember all the little conversations that led up to that and the conversations after that. But as far as I can tell, I mean, I remember there were moments, I think Kia, I remember asking some really pertinent questions that I wanted to know. And, I mean, there were, it was the first trial, so there were a lot of there were a lot of softball questions. But overall, I think the trial went pretty well. Yeah. I am curious to think, I'm curious about what other people think about these twists here. I can imagine if you were really attached to Kaede, being disappointed that she's gone. But my attachment to her as a character just made it all the more painful for her to leave us so quickly. So, yeah. Overall, I think I had a pretty positive experience with this trial. Now that I've had time to cool off and think about it. I mean, I'm really interested to see what comes next. And so, a few things I want to talk about post-trial stuff. Man, oh man, I am not sure how our group recovers from this. I don't even know how Shuichi's going to recover from this. I mean, we know that he got this, we have the passing of the baton. Kaede giving her wish to Shuichi for them to escape as friends. And I don't know if he's going to be able to step up. I mean, and the reason why I say that is he doesn't seem as naturally charismatic as Kaede is. And of course, I think that's going to lead to, we're in the killing game now. We're going to have more casualties in the future. And I think part of that is we're not going to have Kaede to bind us together And so I really expect that this next chapter is going to start off real somber, you know? Yeah. Funnily enough, one person I could imagine becoming the leader, again, that's a weird thing to say. It's not like, well, in Danganronpa 1, we did have, there was a little subplot or conflict where Byakuya, he wanted to be the leader, and he kind of opposed Makoto. But someone I could imagine sort of trying, maybe not succeeding, but trying to fill the role that Kaede had. Funnily enough, Kaito. I could believe Kaito could actually try to step up and fulfill the role of keeping us together. Because he is very forthright, and he also believed in Kaede. That was a big thing with him. He's one of the few that had her back whenever things got tough. And of course, we had that interesting scene where Kaito actually punched Shuichi. That was, that was a pretty interesting interaction there. Now, of course, I don't think Kaito was right to punch Shuichi, but I think I understand why he did it. And he was also one of the ones to quickly stand up against the Exisouls. Man, it's funny. I thought Kaito would be one of the first to go. And I could see him having a much bigger role in the story. It's kind of weird how that has worked out. Of course, that's also... I could see it going the other way, too. Him trying to step up and being the leader, that could put him in danger if everyone doesn't agree. So, I guess we'll just have to see. Now, before I move on, just a few miscellaneous things I want to note before moving on. One, Mono Kid was destroyed, I think? He got pushed into the big piano by Monodum, and the other Mono Cubs thought it was because Monodum was being bullied by Mono Kid. I will say I'm not too heavily invested in the Mono Cubs, but I mean that seems significant. Now, is it just are they going to play it off as just a joke, or is that actually really important? I don't know, but I thought I'd just mention it. I'm also curious, now that we know that Kaede was only our protagonist for Chapter 1, it's probably for sure that the free time... Kaede probably has her own unique free time interactions versus Shuichi. Something I'm thinking about is, we spent a good amount of time with Kaito. I'm curious what our first interaction with Kaito would have been if we say after Chapter 1 and Chapter 2, if we met him as Shuichi instead of Kaede. And that's probably true for everyone, right? Now, I don't know. I don't know if that's true, but it was just a thought that came to me not too long ago. So now that that's known, I could imagine. I mean, I'm sure people have already done that. They've gone back to see what Kaede's, what all her different free time interactions are. And then they probably went to Chapter 2 and did them all as Shuichi, the first interactions. I'm not going to do that, but at least I probably won't do that. But it was just something I thought was interesting. Okay, one last thing I want to mention, and then we will get off of this talking part. And this is... I might just be missing something. If this is something I've missed, maybe you could just let me know. I do not know if there's actually a mastermind or not at this point. Now, Monokuma, he at several points, I think, said something like, What are you talking about? Why are you talking about a mastermind? Now, is he just being, you know, just being deceptive? Or is he telling the truth and that there actually is no mastermind? Because we did get that comment from Kibo that Monokuma is actually an AI, and, you know, we've had a fully AI Monokuma before. And, of course, this leads to one of the tragic moments of the trial where Shuichi felt so guilty, partially because he believes that Kaide was acting based on his assumption. He assumed that there was a mastermind, and he thought he knew what the mastermind would do. And Kaede, acting upon that belief, set up the trap that she did. And so I don't know at this point if it was just an assumption and that he's wrong. And so I don't know if there's a mastermind / traitor, or not. And I don't know if that's been confirmed. You know, it could just be left purposefully ambiguous, and that's probably gonna be something we deal with going forward. That there's still someone amongst us who is Monokuma or aiding Monokuma or something. But if they, you know, again, I don't want to just trust Monokuma, so I don't know. You know, he says there's no mastermind, but you know, who can say? So yeah. So that's my big post-trial discussion there. Much more. I'm much more satisfied with this than my previous 2 attempts, but I think I'm just ready to move on at this point. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and start chapter 1 after a brief break, and it's going to be, I probably won't do that much, just the opening, just to see what it's like, and then call it after a little while. But yeah, okay. I hope if you stuck around for all that, you know, I'm interested to hear your thoughts on it. We had that little talk at the beginning of one of the episodes about certain comments, but really, I really do enjoy reading your thoughts on this. And so if you want to give your opinion on something or point out something I've missed, please feel free, because that part of that interaction is a big part of what I like about doing these sorts of things. So yeah. Okay, let's take a quick break, and then when we get back, we will be ready to start chapter 1. Or chapter 2, excuse me. All right, 1 second, please. All right, let's do this thing. Let's get in here and start the chapter. I did briefly, at the end of the last episode, right after you save, it it just starts. So we're gonna get. So I think we'll just be going straight into a cutscene or something like it. So let's go ahead and see what chapter 2 has in store for us. Again, I think we're gonna start off pretty somber, but you know, I've been the game has thrown me quite a few curveballs already, so I wouldn't be totally surprised if something entirely different happens. Yes. Start.
They were so young and talented. How could this happen?
Oh boy. Okay, yeah. Starting off with more of this. More sadness. Now, okay, I'm not familiar with, what would it be? Well, probably Japanese, right? Japanese funerary practices, but this certainly seems reminiscent of something like that. I don't know if it's a funeral or a memorial. Having her portrait there.
It looked like an accident. They were running away from that group.
That group, huh? Hang on a second. Okay, 16 portraits on there.
Was it really just an accident, though? I honestly can't believe that.
I can't say it too loudly, but they were probably killed by that group.
I thought so.
Oh no. Well, there's nothing we can do about that. I wanted them to live. For our sake at least.
Jeez. I wish they lived. No. They should have lived. They had to. For this world.
Huh. What in the world was that? Hang on. Okay. Yes, highlighting that group. So, okay, Not just her, they were killed. For some reason, so I'm wondering, what is the state of the world at large at this point? I mean, I didn't recognize any of those voices just then. Trying to think back. Now, when our group of students were in the very beginning, in the prologue, when they were normal students, quote unquote normal, which is apparently after they had their memories altered and or erased by this ultimate hunt phenomenon. All of our students had memories of being kidnapped. Were they is the group responsible for kidnapping them? That group? I mean, I'm trying to relate it to wider Danganronpa lore here. What are we thinking? Remnants of Despair? Future Foundation? Something entirely different? I don't know. I'm not sure what is in play at the moment. And okay, these people aren't saying they were kidnapped, they were killed. Huh. I mean, I think I questioned this at the beginning as well. I don't know, I still don't know, are we dealing with another virtual reality thing, or are we in real life? Questions. Where are you hiding? Come out. Or hiding, come out now. What?
Hey!
Oh, hi, Gonta. How are you?
Hey, Bugs!
Huh?
Something on the ground. Words. Wait, what, huh? What was that? I think I saw horse. Horse? Oh, man. Hi, Shuichi. Ah, Kaito. How are you?
Huh?
All right. Here we are in the true protagonist room, and we know that it is the true protagonist room because we have our collectibles here, of course. That should have been what tipped me off. That should have been the hint that Kaide was never truly the protagonist. Oh, look at that. How fancy. Normal bed. Yeah, yep. Monokuma usually pulls out all the stops. Alright. Hi, Kaito. How are you?
Come on, man. Jeez.
Well, that's kind of you.
Huh?
I mean,
Hey!
huh?
Say what now? You don't eat breakfast.
Huh?
All right.
Ah! Okay.
Hang on, you don't need that? For a second, I thought I thought it was your hat. But you're wearing your hat there. So maybe it's not that.
Ah. My bad.
Oh, there we go. Yeah. I mean, as I said, I understand why he did it. It was, oop. Oh, yeah.
No, that's wrong.
Nice. Now we have all new voices for these.
That's wrong. I'm not so sure about that. I can't deny it. Yes, that's it. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right.
Hey, these are...
That's true. I suppose so. No, that's wrong. That's wrong.
Hang on a second.
No, that's wrong. That's wrong. No, that's wrong. That's wrong.
I see an issue here. Obviously, this is evidence
No,
of...
that's wrong.
This must be a bug. You can't say that's wrong and then have the voice line go.
No, that's wrong.
And you can't have no that's wrong and have the audio
That's
go.
wrong.
Worst game. Worst game. Okay. What was I saying? Yeah, okay, Kaito apologized. That's big of him. I appreciate that.
I see.
And it looked like Shuichi accepted it, so
Let's
I'm
go.
glad. Yeah, I'm not sure Kaito and Shuichi are going to be as much of a duo as him and Kaide were, but you know, I'm glad to be on friendly terms with him. Oh, you know what? Let me check something real quick. Let's see. $16. Okay, that does match the portraits that we saw before.
Hey!
Okay, let's make sure we're not missing anyone. Oh. Yeah. Yeah, they're all there. casino. Was that there before? Oh, I think the trees have been cut down. Yeah. Okay. Maybe that was always there and I just did not see that before. Hotel Kuma Sutra. Oh, Kuma, like bear? I see. What does that say? Welcome. Enjoy the game. Okay. Anything else?
Come on, man.
Okay, okay. That's interesting. What's the deal with this place? Oh, this might be some other. Oh, what were they called? Miyu had her room, and then Kaide had her room. What were they called? Labs. There might be a couple labs behind there. But casino, that doesn't seem right. Who in our group is a gambler? I don't know. Maybe the girl from Danganronpa 1 will show up again. I still remember, what was her name? I remember this. Was it Celestia Ludenberg? I think. And someone told me about this. The words here. And I think one of the letters is supposed to be incorrect. So is it Avaritia? And I think the other one was Luxuria. Something like avarice and greed, maybe? I can't remember off the top of my head. Alright, Exesols. Doing more work. And we already confirmed everyone was inside, so let's just go. Okay. All right. Let's see how everyone's doing. Writing.
Honest.
Ah, yes. The horse.
Oh, jeez. My. Cut it out.
Jeez. You know,
Everyone was staring at you, huh?
Yeah?
Surprise on their faces.
Good morning.
Aha! He has removed the hat.
Good morning.
This is a new Shuichi, a hatless Shuichi.
Oh, Shuichi. You finally got rid of that emo hat! Is this 'cause Kaede died or whatever?
Thank you, Kokichi.
Quiet, you male! Learn some manners, why don't you?
Oh, huh. You're not wearing your hat. I didn't even notice.
And you can stand to learn some manners too, you insensitive jerk!
No, I just felt like it was getting in the way is all.
Oh, look at him. I will say, I was kind of okay with the hat. I understand why he doesn't wear it anymore, but, you know. I mean, because thinking back to Hajime and Makoto just thinking about what would it be? Their fashion. It was pretty. Certainly in Hajime's case, I think Hajime was more plain. At least Makoto had the hoodie, right? So I don't know. I thought the hat was all right, but perfectly understandable.
That is correct.
Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Listen up.
This is stupid. Yes, of course.
Huh?
That is correct.
Oh my goodness.
Hey!
Oh, yeah! Stop it.
Amazing. Excellent.
Whoa. What did you just say, Kyo? Of course he has to say something like that. Okay.
Jeez.
May I?
Well, I have to say I'm not really familiar, so I'm gonna go ahead and assume she knows what she's talking about.
Hey,
Oh? Oh, I see. Hey!
It does seem a bit. They're not as down as I thought they would be. How long has it been since the trial?
well,
Yeah, that's one way to say it. Okay, he's acknowledging it. Ah, I see. Okay, question asked and answered. It was yesterday. Oh, don't show me that again.
ah,
By the way,
Ha! Fucking virgin.
huh?
Hey!
Okay. I mean, to my eyes, certainly looks like horse. And then a lowercase a? Does it look different if I tilt my head? Can't really tell. Okay, horse A. That's what it is.
I see.
Yo!
Huh?
But... Feeling divine?
No.
Hmm?
But...
You think you see, or did you see? Oh.
maybe...
Degenerate male!
Which means... Oh.
Huh?
It's true!
Got it.
What?
Hey! Huh? Thank goodness.
Well, you know.
What am I looking at? Kokichi?
Ah,
Oh my goodness, what was that? Okay, I think... Okay, I think that was... I think that was meant to illustrate what the narration is saying here. Okay, for a second, I was thinking, Kokichi, did you always have the power to change your color, skin and hair color? I guess that was something.
What's the matter?
I'm ready! Hey!
You really don't get it. Huh? Oh?
Yoo-hoo!
Yeah.
What?
Huh? Hey!
Well, you know, broken clock, right twice a day and all that.
You're annoying.
More importantly,
Yeah?
The prize, huh?
huh?
Rise and shine, Ursine! Rise and shine, Ursine!
Ooh,
Huh?
Monodum looking fierce.
Is all that remains of a once
Thing.
Huh?
right now. You're on the threshold
knew
of
it.
an amazing adventure.
Aw. That's sad to hear. Or read, rather.
You're the worst of the worst!
Stop it.
Huh?
Is all
What?
that remains of a once
My little cubs.
right now.
We are all friends.
Threshold of an amazing adventure.
Uh-huh.
Right?
Why, you?
Oh well. And that's that. Got it? Listen up, because we got these here fabulous, nonsensical prizes for yous.
Okay.
A dragon gem, an ocarina, an ancient passport, and a hexagonal crank from some zombie game.
Dragon Gem, Ancient Passport. I think I know where those two go. Ocarina and hexagonal crank from some zombie game. Don't know about that one.
These prizes
Or
all
those
come
ones.
in a bundle.
Wow, what a bunch of random junk! Bravo! Bravo!
Yay! I don't get why these are prizes, but aren't they lovely anyway?
What?
To tell you the truth,
Okay.
No.
We
What?
Actually,
eh?
You stupid!
All that remains of a once powerful nation.
So long, farewell!
All right, bye.
Hey,
Okay, Tsugumi telling us what we need to do.
However,
See?
Nah. Huh?
Hey!
Oh, well, thanks, I guess?
Got it.
Okay.
Man.
Okay, little scavenger hunt. Except we already have what we already have the objects. We need to find out where they go to. Well, I know where 2 of them go. Oh, they're on the side right there. Okay. Let's call it there for today. Yeah, we had the talk in the first half, and then we had the introduction to Chapter 2 in this half. Man, I gotta say, I don't know. Nagito was such a fascinating... What would it be? He wasn't strictly an antagonist, but he wasn't... He was just such a weirdo. Sorry, it's a bit mean to say, but he had a weird philosophy, and that kind of made him unpredictable in a way. Kokichi is just... I don't know. I'm just not vibing with it. He just seems strictly antagonistic towards all of us. Yeah, I don't know. I guess we'll just have to wait and see. In any case, I hope you're all doing alright. Next time, we will solve this little mystery. And move on. Okay, this has been Danganronpa V3. Hope you're doing alright, and hope to see you next time. Bye-bye.